Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is Jason, also known as Ominous Prime here. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you like this video, please feel free to subscribe so you can be aware of when I'm going to be putting up videos. Be sure to hit that bell icon. That'll give you the notifications. If you have any comments that you'd like to speak of, go ahead and put them in the comment section below. The point of today's video is kind of just to go over HasLab, what to expect going forward, what is it, and this is basically from my own experience of going through a prior HasLab that actually got completed and I got it in hand. That would be the HasLab Transformers Unicron. Now we just wrapped up with the HasLab for the Cobra Hiss tank, which is G.I. Joe classified scale, so it's a 1/12 scale. So it's basically for 6-inch figures in the G.I. Joe classified lines that'll be able to go ahead and utilize that. And it just ended last night, so those of you that had backed the project should have got charged today, whatever your chosen method of payment was. You'll see that bill there being paid off. But I wanted to kind of walk you through what to expect next and possibly, speculate on what may be coming down the line here. At least what I'm anticipating or hoping for like the lines that I actually collect for. So just going to the site here. And if you're on, this is the Hasbro Pulse website, where you would typically, well, let's not say typically, you always go here if you want to get a HasLab product. And you have to do it while it's an active project that's funding. And you'll notice that there's nothing here anymore because they don't have anything that's been announced that they're currently trying to do the crowdsource funding for. But these are the ones that are currently in production. I didn't get in on this one. I didn't see. I'm really picky about Marvel Legends because there's so many characters. It's so vast, and I don't know all of them. So I kind of like pick and choose which ones I like. I did get this one, so it hasn't been released yet. It's in there's stages of getting it through production, and I do also have this one here, and you'll see that it's saying that it's supposed to be winter of 2022. We'll see. They've been having problems with production runs at Hasbro, and this one's spring of 2023. I'm really looking forward to this one. And then we have the Ghostbusters backpack and the Cobra Hiss tank. These are the ones that have been successful. What you can expect with the HasLab process is, as a backer, you'll get emails letting you know what's coming up, where they're at, things that they've tried out, such as like packaging material, anything that they've designed or tweaked. They tend to send you out information on that, so you can take a look at that. I expect, because this just funded yesterday for the Hiss tank, and they, charging people today, you should expect to receive an email detailing and congratulating you for backing the project and it having a successful campaign. For those of you that are looking, at possibly, you backed it, but you weren't really sure yet, but you wanted to make sure that you had the choice of whether to keep it or not keep it. Like typically they give you like 30 days after it's gone through, and they make sure that your money has gone through, that if you need for some reason to cancel it and get a refund, you would be able to do so. So those of you that weren't sure if you're going to be able to do that, typically they send you an email that lets you know how to go through that process of canceling it if you need to. So that's where you would see times after a project successfully funds, where you see the numbers start to roll back. It happens from time to time. There's just some people whose payment method doesn't go through, or they thought they were going to have the money and don't have it, or people are just canceling out. So that happens. What I'm looking forward to, possibly, because I know the next project from what's been hinted at with the Marvel team is they'll do a HasLab project for that. That'll be announced. They said that they didn't have anything to announce recently because they didn't want to step on the toes of the G.I. Joe team and possibly take away from the his tank. So with the Marvel HasLab, it's not anything that I'm overly concerned with. So that just means I'm not going to be spending money on that. So that's good. But the next HasLab, I think that should follow after that, aside from some other movie property, is Transformers. And there's been speculation that they'll do something that's Beast Wars related this time. I don't really follow Beast Wars. I'm more of a G1 guy, and I know that there's some people that try to say that Beast Wars is G1. It's not my G1, it's your G1. So, if you're happy with that, I'm happy for you. Because I got my Unicron, I'm happy with that. And there's other people that have speculated that the next one will be Cybertron. And I had a hard time figuring out where to put Unicron. So getting another giant planet, even though Cybertron is like iconic for Transformers, I wouldn't know what to do with it. And I know it's the whole thing of having it be Primus. Primus is basically, depending on the lore that you look at, it's Primus is basically like the main adversary of Unicron. So they're constantly at battle with each other, like two gods of the Transformers. And so they were thinking, the easy thing to do is to go ahead and make Cybertron. People know what Cybertron is. They'll want it just because of that. But, having it transform into Primus as well, then you'll have two giant planets that you can have on your display. And to that, I'm like, if we're going by like Transformers the movie for like Cybertron would be, I think, slightly bigger than Unicron. But, man, I don't know. I don't know if I want to have Cybertron like that. I mean, because if anything, it's just going to sit in Cybertron mode. And I don't know. It's just it's not exciting. What I would rather have is, and this might sound odd because I collect Transformers, right? And I collect Masterpiece scale Transformers. But what I would like to see is for them to choose like a scene in a way for from like Transformers the movie and have it be like final battle. But I would like to have this would all be in Masterpiece scale. Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime like conversion that goes along with it. So it'd actually be two different scales for the two different bots in battle with Galvatron. And so this would be like an official Masterpiece Galvatron that's included with the Masterpiece scaled Hot Rod to Rodimus Prime. And they've kind of shown that they can kind of figure out how to do that with the Commander class Rodimus Prime that they released recently with the Kingdom line of Transformers. However, they should make it look as G1 accurate to the cartoon as possible, with some additional detailing where the alt mode looked like something that could actually exist. Now I know Rodimus Prime looks like a weird People call it Winnebago, but it's not really a Winnebago. It's based on a truck that was, I think it was electric powered, that was designed in the 60s. I'll put a picture up in here so you can see what I'm talking about. But it was actually a truck cab with a trailer. It's just based on a futuristic one, so it wasn't like a big camper in the back. But in any case, I think that would be ideal if they were able to work that out to where they can make that a masterpiece scaled. And because it's a HasLab, they can put in the work in the engineering to make it work in all modes, to where it looks really good in bot mode, it looks really good in alt mode. It might be a little bit of a headache to get from one to the other. Hopefully they don't make it so, but as long as the end results is it's sturdy, it looks good, it's highly articulated in, you know, the different modes that we have here for Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime and for Galvatron, and they get the colors to match what they were in the movies, I think that would work. You could have a matrix that lights up. You could even have an audio chip that plays the touch, you know, in the background whenever you pose them up holding the matrix. And the cool thing is either having the conversion or having Hot Rod as a separate and having Rodimus as a separate. You can do that posing where he's becoming Rodimus Prime. So it's something that I would like to see. It's a bit different because now it's like a small collection of bots, but it also means it doesn't have to be super expensive. We don't have a Galvatron that's masterpiece scaled that's official, and I think when Takara steps up, they shine, and I think it would be a good project for both Hasbro and Takara Tomy to get together and put this together. So I'm thinking that would work for a HasLab. For G.I. Joe, it's a little bit different. I'm thinking that they're going to go back and forth with 3 1/4 scale and then 6-inch scale. So since we just finished with a His tank, I'm hoping that the next one will be with the Cobra Rattler. I want to have that so I can have that to go with the Sky Striker. It makes sense. You can, you know, do more pit crew stuff for it. Get Wild Weasel included in there, of course. They can have like a new character that they can introduce as like a Rattler co-pilot that sits in the gunner seat. So they can, I don't know what they would call him, but they would come up with some other type of Viper they could put in there. But there's a lot of things that you could put in there, like maybe a hanger to stick the Rattler in, because the Rattler is smaller than the Sky Striker, so maybe they could have something like that. There's an iconic comic that has Ace going against Wild Weasel that I would love to be able to put together. And then, of course, you can do like the damage panels that the original Rattler came with, you know, so you can have that kind of like iconic battle and have it come with its own stand. So there's the Rattler, I just think is iconic to G.I. Joe and Cobra, and it definitely makes sense for a HasLab for that, for the next one in the 3 3/4 inch line. For the 6-inch classifieds, I know that there's a lot of G.I. Joe fans that are in the north, you know, in Canada as well, and they want to have some snow vehicles. And this would also give an opportunity to introduce a different groups of characters that are in the G.I. Joe line that haven't been shown, such as like Snowjob, Iceberg. Of course, you got the driver, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, for the Snowcat, who, you know, like was barely in the cartoon, but everybody got a Snowcat and knows who he is. I just can't remember what his name is, but I can't remember because I got a Tiger Cat and I don't recall if he comes with that. But I was mentioning the Tiger Force. See if they've talked about with the HasLab team. They've talked about vehicles making it to store shelves that may be not as high-end quality as like the HasLab, like his tank. So if they do put a his tank out on the shelf, it may be like a shell of what the HasLab product is. So no moving treads, no lights. Might just be a canopy that opens, and then you got the turret area where you can just, you know, spin that around. And I don't know if they would necessarily even have the hatch that opens up in the back, but at least that way it would be an affordable, although kind of like dumbed down version of it that people who want to army build would be able to have. And if they do the Snowcat, they can do that and change it to a Tiger Cat for like a dumbed down version that would be in stores. You know, make it like a Target exclusive to keep it in line with the Tiger Force. And that would be a way of getting it into the stores. They can say, hey, look, this HasLab for Snowcat sold really well. Here's a different version of it. It's repainted and it's kind of dumbed down to make it affordable at retail. It's mass produced. Here you go. You know, you can sell this and it'll sell well. So this might be kind of like a foot in the door to get vehicles into stores again. But I like the idea of the Snowcat because you can fit a number of figures on it, and it's an iconic vehicle. They used it in several episodes back in the original cartoon. So I think people would be pretty satisfied with it, and I think it's a good kind of equivalent to like a his tank. I know that there's going to be a lot of people that are like, well, no, I'd rather have like a Mobat or a Mauler. And to that I say, there's a lot of like remote controlled tanks that are out there. It doesn't necessarily scream iconic G.I. Joe vehicle. So it's the reason why I don't think that they would go with that necessarily, because a tank is just a tank. Whereas like his tank, yeah, you can tell that's a G.I. Joe vehicle. It wouldn't exist in the real world. And I think the Snowcat is similar. I mean, I'm sure there's half-track vehicles out there, but the Snowcat looks like a G.I. Joe vehicle. So, I mean, other people would want to have like a Havoc or a Whale. Havoc or a Whale, I think, would be the size of like a small coffee table, which makes it cost prohibitive, at least for shipping. And it's also a question of where do you put that? And the cost of it is going to be really high. And I'm just thinking for myself, you know, it's a selfish thought, but I'm thinking, you know, if they do like a Snowcat, it would either be about the same prices as the his tank that they just put, you know, are putting out, or slightly less, because the vehicle itself I don't think is that much bigger. It's about the same scale, I think, as a his tank. So I think that works out really well. All the other smaller vehicles that they have for G.I. Joe, I think, should be able to go straight to retail and not have to be included as a HasLab. Other people have said, you know, well, I want a Thunder Machine. And I'm like, yeah, Thunder Machine sounds great. And they want the unlocks to be like Dreadnoks. And that's where I say you're going to make a bunch of people angry. Because if they have to get a HasLab to get Dreadnoks, especially when they already have like a bunch of Zartans already out, and Zarana is coming, you know, they put out all the other Dreadnoks under this HasLab, I think it would rub people the wrong way and they would not want to fund it. So I think that's a bad idea to do that one. But I think a Snowcat makes sense. It's a Joe vehicle now to go against Cobra, and if you wanted to army build it, you could. Thunder Machine, you're not going to army build. It's kind of like a one and done. At least for most people, I don't think they're going to try and get as many Thunder Machines as you can. But those are my thoughts right now with the HasLab and what to expect through the process. And I hope that everybody that wanted to get in on it managed to get one, at least. And I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts are on HasLabs, or on what you expect to see or want to see coming down the pike. And that'll do it for this video. And I hope you all have a good one. And remember to subscribe. I appreciate it. All right, bye.